Hi, hello, and welcome to yet another Expat. This is episode 88. I had to look that up because it's been some time since I last recorded. But here I am. Thanks for tuning in. And I have to tell you, I'm recording this on a Sunday, March 22, 2026. And in the room that I'm recording is adjacent to the apartment next to us that has some small kids that apparently today I think are having a party. And one of the party members has a flute. But they don't know how to play the flute. They're just... Do you know the Titanic Bud flute version, that meme you can see? This is what's going on in the background for me right now. And if it is so annoying through the wall, I cannot believe how it must be for the parents there. But grateful that my son is still 1 year old, so he's not able to blow the flute and make my life miserable. But it's been a long time and I don't know where to begin. I have some scattered notes as always, but likely the first thing to say is that I took a gap week because I was pretty down and sick. Multiple pains have found me from my aching back and my herniated discs, trying to make it work with full days of taking care of the baby. That's not a baby anymore, because at 14 months, he's almost very demanding. And, it's the time where the little dictator is pointing the finger at things, and those things need to either come to him or he needs to get there. So I am nothing but a humble servant preparing meals per day. But the kindergarten is here to save me, and we are already doing 2-hour blocks every day where kindergarten is happening, and that will only increase. I also have a tooth pain. Why are teeth so annoying? Once a pain starts, there's no escape. It's not just gonna stop. You need to take care of things, and being in a different country where you don't speak the language and you don't have your own doctors is probably a chapter of its own to bring up at some point. Because in Greece, I know everything like the palm of my hand, and that brings some security. But here in Berlin, I'm just a stranger between strangers that cannot even speak the language. So good luck describing your pain and hoping that the other person will listen and take care of you instead of just doing the bare minimum to get paid and move on. But these are small troubles. It's not that someone bombed an oil facility while they knew that there's going to be a rain forecast, so that the petroleum cloud gets burned into rain, and then you literally have a raining fire pouring down the city and flaming rivers of sewage exploding, which is one of the few things that happened to Iran in the last 2 weeks. I know there's a lot going on there. We are all boiling in the same pot. And I'll try to make this podcast a bit more light, because I'm sure that you are bombarded with these news all day. And the last thing you want when coming here is to hear about it yet again. But I have to say that that specific attack in an oil refinery in the city, while they knew there's going to be a forecast for clouds and rain, that basically created toxic rain that rained throughout the city, and all the petroleum got into the life cycle of the water and the sewage. I just find that a special kind of evil, poisoning the water cycle. And you know who drinks water? Everyone. Everyone drinks water. But even though I have a lot of things piled up, I've actively decided to not talk about the war that the US and Israel have waged upon Iran and Lebanon. The situation is pretty horrible, and we'll feel the aftermath of this for years to come, no matter what happens. And that's just an accepted reality, and I think everyone tries to just keep saying. Because, and this is my last comment on this foolish war that Trump and Israel have dragged everyone in, is the fact that people don't really talk about it. Like, the people you talk to, the people you meet, everyone knows it's happening. Everyone is devastated about what it means collectively for the world, this level of destruction and disruption of supply chains and food chains and fertilizers, all of it. But no one talks about it. It's like this background situation that we have all accepted, and it's too big, too dark, too depressing, too much to touch it. So we just talk about the other things. And maybe, what is there to say? Maybe there's not much to say, but maybe there is something in acknowledging the collective grief that most of the world is experiencing, the state of things, the state of inequality, the wealth inequality, the social systems collapsing, alliances collapsing, it's the rule of the strong. And I've talked about this before, but I don't know how it is in your cycles, but in mine, I think everyone is pushing it on the side. And I don't think it is because of malintent. I think it is because it is just too much. So you need a coping mechanism. It's a survival instinct to just try and focus on your days or your weeks or everything you have going on. Because how many things can you worry about at the same time? So I get it. And this is where I will pause this topic. And I will just say that many episodes ago, I talked about Polymarket, that horrible place that lets you bet on everything. Since then, there is a second big market called Kalshi that does the same. They call them prediction markets. There is crazy amounts of manipulation and insider trading happening there because Polymarket and Kalshi and all these prediction markets are not yet regulated. And most of the bets in there are warmongering bets. And there are accounts with insider info that are making suspicious money. And just betting on the collapse of the world in such a blatant way is a sign of our times. Last of the last bit in this, Yannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, a guy who I hold a lot of respect, and I think most Greeks hold so much respect about the course of his life, for some reason decided to be an investor in one of these prediction markets. I found that pretty sad. There's enough money and enough businesses for his children and his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren. Did he really need to jump into this profit wagon, this unregulated Wild West that incentivize the worst out of people? But it is what it is. And when there is a new market, there is always new opportunity. And this is what a guy did from Germany. Because I think he looked at this prediction market. As we've said, these are illegal in Europe, but someone decided to create a betting market on how late the trains will be in Germany. It's a fantastic troll idea that turned into a real product, and it has become viral in the past days. It's called Bahn.bet. Bahn from S-Bahn is how you call the trains. And you can literally bet on the German train delays. Now, for those who might not know, the German train delays are wild. You may think that Germans have efficiency and that they are like a well-oiled machine, but they really are not. And the trains, 1 out of 3 trains is delayed. Like the delays on the trains are so bad that people that have connections they miss them all the time. And it's an ongoing problem. You can look into it, but it's far worse than you might think, the state of the German trains, Deutsche Bahn. So this guy made a website, Bahn.bet, where you can bet on German train delays. And you can bet by the minute how many minutes late it will be, and you win or you lose money like that. Now, I don't know the legal side of this, but I know it's picked up, and the creator said they're being contacted for interviews, and 3 funds want to buy the website, so it really picked off in the last days. And this is just a wild idea. And I bet it's one of these examples where you can vibe code it or get Claude coding and all these AI tools and put a lot of your time still, but be able to create something out of nothing with pure determination. So good job for the idea, whoever made it. It's very satisfying and fun to be able to actually make a profit out of the train being delayed, because it only causes frustration, right? And now you have a chance to make it cause something different. And I think that's why people are excited. In other things that happened, last week I managed to game a little bit after a long time. And it hit me that now I'm old. Like, I'm the dad gamer. I'm someone who has a kid. And I was in this lobby. I was playing Rocket League. And I had a teammate. This is a 2 versus 2 game. So you get a random teammate. And if you are vibing well and you have good teamwork, maybe you can stay connected and continue playing games together, or continue and be matched with random people. So I vibed with this person, we played a few games, and I knew from how they write that they're probably quite young. So at some point I said, hey, you probably are less than 20 years old. He said, yeah, I'm 18. And I said, I'm 34. And he called me Unk, U-N-C. And I later realized that this is a slang from uncle. So he called me an uncle. And this is something that this new generation does to us. I don't know if it is a good thing or a bad thing. We kept playing a few games and he would refer to me as Unk. I think it's like the cool uncle. Not ankle, uncle. Sorry, my pronunciation has never been good. But like the brother of your mother, that type of uncle. And this is what happened to me. And I had to Google it. I had to Google, do new kids call old people uncle? And yeah, it happens in gaming. And the web result said that if you have to look for this, then you're definitely an uncle. So this is me. I don't even know how they pronounce it. I'll call it Unk. And I played with this kid for a bit. And then we stayed connected. It felt pretty creepy because he tried to audio chat with me. And I guess that kids really do that to curse each other or play. But I was thinking, okay, what territory am I entering? And this is why I asked him, how old are you? Because if I have a 14-year-old kid that just wants to voice chat with me, I don't think I'm going to answer. I don't know. I would say, hey kid, it's too dangerous to talk with you. Can I even curse? We're not equal, I need to take care of you. I'm already taking care of one kid. I'm here to have fun and to game. If I want to curse your mother, I need to be able to do it. This is part of my gaming experience. But no, I'm not cursing and it's all good. I just realized that I've entered the age gap now where when I play, it's my 2-hour release after a full week of working. And I'm playing with kids that just finished school and have not a worry in the world. And they just see me as this old dinosaur that is still around. So, reality check, not a bad thing. On a completely different topic, when you walk on the street, do you read all these flyers that are hanging in the light poles and the traffic lights and all that? Because I love reading this. I'm like, why would someone get in the way of printing something and gluing it here? Like, what is they're trying to achieve? I always take a read, and it's usually people that want to do classes, people looking for apartments. But here's one I saw the other day and I want to share with you. It's 5 words that I never thought that fit together, okay? The title of this flyer said, Spiritual Ecology Bird Watching Tours. I'll say that one more time. Spiritual Ecology Bird Watching Tours. And I find it extremely funny because I happened to spot this flyer one day after I spent some time in my balcony and I was observing the crows in my neighborhood. I was just looking at what they're doing and the other birds. There are 3 types of birds. I don't know how to call them. And I thought, hey, this is a calming thing to do because it's not very easy to find calming things to do anymore for me because, I don't know, there's something wrong with my attention span. But looking at the birds, that was really good. I really enjoyed and my attention span was happy looking around what they're doing. And I thought, wow, is this me in my 30s? Maybe I do end up like, one of these people that do bird watching. And the same day, my girlfriend asked me, it was Women's Day, right? The 7th or 8th of March. So she asked me, hey, could you live in a world without women? And I said, yes. And then she was like, oh, okay. Could you live in a world without men? And I said, absolutely yes. And she thought about it and she asked me if I could live in a world without people. And I thought, I gave it a think. And I said, probably yes. I started thinking, okay, let's say there are no people. What would I do? And I thought maybe I start observing nature and animals. And maybe that can be, interesting enough together with my thoughts, just looking at how nature is doing things. And I thought, yeah, if there are still animals around, I could get some primates, some apes, some himbadges, Michael Jackson style. And if all the people are gone, I have at least the closest thing I can. I would hang out with them and watch birds. So after a day like that, where I had my own thought of looking at birds in the balcony, then I had my girlfriend asking me how to live in a place without other humans, and I again thought of the bird and animal observation, and then I step out on the street, and this flyer tells me that I can have spiritual ecology bird watching tours. It's exactly everything combined. And of course, I didn't save the number, and of course, I'm not going to do it. I'm not there yet. It's just that it was a pathway that I can now see. I can imagine it. I can understand why someone would put these 5 words together. I think. I don't know their cosmology. I don't know how they interpret the spiritual bird watching situation. But for me, it made sense. What else is happening in my week? I hear you wonder. Well, let's face it, I'm not going to bring news from the world. They're too fucked up. I'm just going to bring you random things that happened to me and hope that's good enough for your podcast listening. But here's the new battle I'm now in. My schedule is, I take the baby to the kindergarten, sits there for 2 hours, then I pick him up, he's destroyed, sleeps on the stroller, and then I just continue back to back being outside. Because the days are nice, being in the apartment is always more boring. So we go to playgrounds, I have these cafes that I like to stop by and take things. So I have created the perfect rotation that goes between his needs to sleep, to sit down and eat, and to play, and my needs, which are a bit similar, I just don't sleep. So I have this rotation I do. And I have to say that I am entering a hostile territory, and that is the hipster cafes. Now, let me tell you, if you don't know, I just realized that there is an invisible battle happening in the hipster cafes. It is the people with the babies and the people with the laptops, okay? And most of the time, they live in calmness. There is an equilibrium they've reached because the people with the babies go when the kindergarten stops and the people with the laptops go in the morning. And, there is this pattern. But I am breaking the pattern because our baby can only do 2 hours in the kindergarten. So after that, I'm out on the streets. I go to the hipster cafes because a hipster cafe wants to appear nice, and so they get a baby chair. But if you have a baby chair, I put you on the map. I save you in a special Google Maps list if you have a baby chair, because then I can just plug him in and feed him his meal, and then we can continue. So a good hipster cafe for me is like a pit stop. It gives me a chance to catch up my breath, get back on my feet before I continue. But now, these cafes in the morning, they literally are filled with silent people working in their laptops. And the look I get when I walk in there with a baby who just lights up his eyes and starts pointing at things. He points at the lights in the ceiling and says, "Tutu tata!" And he points at the speaker that plays music and says, "Tutu titi!" And just points at people that he finds interesting and starts saying baby things. And I see the fear in their eyes because they know. They know that a baby can be all nice and cute and say these cute little mumblings, but they also know that at any given moment, a baby can explode. Can start crying, can start complaining, can take a shit in his pants. So I know they wish I wasn't there. But we don't have any hostilities, we just have this tension of existence. We both exist in the hipster cafe, and Leonidas has never thrown a tantrum. We just go about eating, pointing at things, talk as a 14-month baby can do to talk, and we just go our way. So I like to feel like when I enter these places, all these people are secretly judging me and they're hating that I'm there. And then by the time we leave, their opinion has changed. They're like, "Oh, wow, this baby came in and it was so well behaved and so cute. And that dad was so cool. And he fed it and played with it and kept things interesting." So this is how I like to think about myself. I boost my own self-esteem by imaginary stories I make. But the tension between the laptop hipsters and the parents is very real. One of the reasons why last week was so hard, I also put it in a story, is because I'm naive. I go to this kindergarten and I stay there as Leonidas gets used to the teachers and whatnot. But I was too nice. That is my problem. And being too nice means that I let the kids come to me and bring me their toys and they play with me. And I was like, I have to sit there like a Christmas tree between them while they put all of their toys beneath me. And yeah, I just thought I don't want to misbehave. And what did I get? I got a norovirus. A norovirus is an extreme throwing up and diarrhea bug that you get in kindergartens. And that's when I realized that I've been so stupid every single day. I'm touching these kids or their toys or the doors, and then I just leave and I go about my day and I go to my silly cafes and I eat my pistachio croissant with my hands. Why did I not wash my hands every time I leave this kindergarten? Why didn't the teachers tell me, instead of touching all these kids that are coming to me, I should be kicking them away? I should be doing karate defense moves. They try to bring a toy and I should be like, ka-chow, and throw it away, showing off my fencing skills from way back in the day when I was 16 and I would call the grown-ups uncles as I played Game Boy Color. So if you're still listening, if you ever have a child, if you ever take it to kindergarten, treat it as the most infectious place you've been. It looks cute, everything looks nice, but just create a filter in your brain and make everything be hostile to you, because whatever you touch and whoever you talk to, the kids, they just populate germs around. That's all they do. They exchange viruses non-stop for 3 years until their immune systems are built up. But my son's immune system kicked this out in half a day. He just had one diarrhea. Do you know what I had? Press skip the next 15 seconds 3 times if you don't want to hear this. But have you heard these stories where someone is having diarrhea and at the same time throwing up? I think I saw it in some movie or in some South Park episode. Well, this is real. This is something that can happen. And when I looked up this norovirus and the kindergarten put an announcement afterwards that there is an outbreak, thank you very much. I think they knew it already when I got it, before I got it. I looked it up and it literally said that it has extreme, it had the word. In English it says, norovirus is a highly contagious virus that causes severe acute gastroenteritis, vomiting, and diarrhea. Okay? Now, if the description of the virus says severe acute, then you know it is intense. So this has been live. I should have put it together with the back pain and the tooth pain because I feel like physically the universe is throwing punches at me. I'm trying my best to deflect them. And, well, the rest of the world is also going to shit. So we're all going to shit together. And I will slowly wrap it up here with 2 last things. So the first one is a reminder. I have another podcast in Greek. It's called Ερμής και Cosmos. And it is a podcast that is hosted in the German radio called Cosmo. And it's once a month, the last week of every month. So next Friday, the 26th or whatever it is, there's going to be an episode out. And it will be me talking in Greek about how it is to be in Germany. Now, what is confusing is that the same podcast produces episodes every week. It's just not me. So sometimes I share this in my other socials, and it's the people that have this show. They just give me one show per month to do my own thing, and that has its own name. So it exists conceptually within the cadence of the normal show that they have. I'm just taking over once a month. So, if you want to hear me speak some Greek, you're not bored of me, check out the link in the description. And now the last bit. You made it this far. A grim episode, lots of complaining. What can we do to make life better? If you made it this far, let's unlock this one secret together. Now, it's not easy to do it. Maybe it's easier for others, but neuroscience says that the brain is highly sensitive during the first 30 minutes of waking up. During this window, the brain transitions from the sleeping mode to the active mode. It transitions from the theta and alpha brain waves that are associated with sleep into full wakefulness. Now, there is research in neuroscience that shows that some early morning behaviors can influence dopamine regulation, cortisol timing, cortisol makes you stressed, the circadian rhythm alignment, and the cognitive performance throughout the day. What are these few things you can do to help wire yourself in a better way? What can you do in the first 30 minutes after you wake up to program your brain for the entire day? Because 73% of people sabotage it without even realizing it. And here I am to end this with 7 morning routines that neuroscience says they work. First and foremost, don't touch your phone. Your brain wakes up in these theta and alpha brainwave states, but this is when it is the most programmable. If you start scrolling right away, it instantly floods your brain with these dopamine spikes and stress signals. So you start the day in a very reactive state instead of intentional. I start so many of my days like this. So many days I feel I started reactive instead of intentional. I feel that I'm not having the will, and this is because of the doom scrolling. So don't touch your phone, number 1. Number 2, I've seen this also in the past and in the Humberman podcast and other places. Get sunlight in your eyes. Within 10 minutes of waking up, try to expose your eyes to natural sunlight. That triggers your circadian clock and it boosts your serotonin. It helps regulate cortisol. You will be in a better mood, focus, and sleep later in the day. So this is hard, especially in Berlin. Haha, what a joke. But if you have the sun as direct as possible, try to look into the natural sunlight. If I find it, I even open the windows because I'm thinking, I'm taking no chances. Give it to me raw. But this is a very, very big one. Try to look into sunlight. Third thing, drink water first. When you wake up, you're always mildly dehydrated, after 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Even 1 or 2% of dehydration can reduce your focus, reduce your energy. So when you start the day, drink a glass of water. It signals your brain that the body is ready to start the day. Everything starts wiring up and getting ready to go. Number 4, this is where it gets difficult. Move your body for 2 to 5 minutes, okay? I know it's difficult, but it's not that much. Simple movement. It will activate your reticular system in your brain. It will increase alertness. It increases the blood flow. It wakes everything up. You don't need a full workout. You just need to wake up your nervous system. So what I like to do is put a stupid kid's song with my son, and then we dance together, and I move my ass and I move my hands, and I just try to move every bit of my body. Now, number 5 is a bit more hippie. It says if you set one clear intention in the morning, it will help a lot because your brain filters reality. It always filters reality, and it does it based on what it believes is important for you. So when you choose a clear intention in the morning, your brain will start looking for opportunities to match that. That intention could be to, be kinder to yourself, to express gratitude, whatever that is. But if you set it up in the morning, it has better chances of succeeding. In the same way, avoid negative input in the morning. Surprise, surprise, your brain has a negativity bias in the morning. Oh, it definitely has a negativity bias in my morning. So news, arguments, stressful content can really shape your emotional state for hours later. Please protect the first information your brain consumes. And then the last thing, all of that is in the first 30 minutes of the morning. Do one small thing. Make your bed, write one line in your journal, do a tiny task. A small win will release dopamine and build momentum. The momentum is what turns good mornings into productive days. And this is it. Exposure to sunlight shortly after waking up, hydration, even brief movement. Don't touch your phone. Set a goal or a habit you want to have, and avoid negative input. There it goes. We've solved it. And now with that, I'll let you go. What more do you need? What more do I need? We have everything. Thank you for being you. Thank you for listening to this episode. Yet another expat, yet another week. We're doing it. We're making it. I hope you have a wonderful time to the extent possible, and I will see you, likely the week after. Until then, ciao!